Well, good morning, everybody. Kath and I are just going to, of course, do a sound check. So we'd like to make sure that you can hear us. And could somebody type in and let us know that all is good and well? We'd so appreciate it. Thank you, Les. That's
excellent.
Awesome.
Thank you, Les.
Well, let's get started, shall we?
We shall.
Of course, we are the profitable salon owner, and Catherine and I are considered to be the two blondes. I'd like to think that we were the only two blondes, but there are a few others out there in the world, aren't there, Catherine?
Yeah, just a few.
Just a few. But the purpose of the profitable salon owner is to develop profitable salons and their owners and employees and whatever it is to be profitable. So we're so grateful for you for joining us today to allow us to share some insights and some help and advice. And of course, we do like to do an interactive webinar. So please, if you've got questions or comments or whatever, slip into the chat side.
The chat box, absolutely.
And we'll try and take care of them.
Great. So let's get on, because today we're going to talk about something that's I really love this. It's a SWOT analysis. And you're going to say, what in the heck what's a SWOT analysis?
Well, and I got to tell you, the English consider swotting is studying for an exam.
That's right.
Right? And now there's this other swatting that they're talking about is, on the internet where they're, when they swat people, they create mischief.
Oh, okay.
So I want you to make sure that this is not that kind of a SWOT.
No, it's a studying SWOT.
You got it. And of course, it's an acronym, and we love our acronyms.
And I really believe that as business owners, as professionals, whether you work by yourself or whether you are an owner who has multiple salons or just a few employees, I think it's really important to sit back and really think about, the things that we just kind of go day by day. We're running along, and we don't really stop and think or analyze anything about what we're doing. We either know that we're doing okay, or we don't think we're doing all that well, but we don't really sit there and analyze it. And as a business coach, I used to travel across North America, and going into salons, helping salons become profitable. And one of the things I highly encouraged the teams to do was to once a year, maybe every other year, is to sit down, spend some time, and think about what SWOT really means. And it's your strengths, your weaknesses, where your opportunities lie, and what you see as a threat to your business.
What I love about this acronym and this whole SWOT analysis is because honestly, as business owners, we often think, other than our numbers, how do we analyze our business? And of course, if you've been on any of our webinars, you'll know that I am a systems freak, and I like everything really well laid out. And I like to know exactly what it is and how I'm going to go about doing something. So by having a SWOT analysis, it breaks everything down into a specific category that I can now take a look at. And, one of the other things you can do when you're doing SWOT analysis is you can even break down your 4 components here into a quarter. So say once a quarter, you're going to deal with just one aspect of your SWOT analysis.
Yeah, I think it's important to do the whole thing, to lay it all out, and then you can tackle one thing at a time.
Exactly.
Because you need to kind of see the overview of what it is. And I mean, it's as simple as sitting down with a piece of paper and writing it out. And I'll tell you what we do in my own salon business. I'm not there anymore. I only fly in for meetings. I have shareholders who do all the day-to-day operations in my business. But once a year, I fly in and we meet and we talk about, we do a SWOT analysis. And we do it on a whiteboard, and we just write it all down, and we just throw out things. We write everything down. And then before the end of the day, we've broken out a plan of action of things that we need to change. And so it gives us something to move forward with.
And it gives you that focus. And I think focus in business is one of the most important things. And sometimes we get so caught up in day-to-day living and day-to-day stuff that we forget to look at the overview. And it doesn't matter how many people are in your salon. If it's just you, take a look at how this analysis can help you build your business.
Because oftentimes, and particularly, I think there's only one person. You often think, well, why do I need to do that?
Yeah.
But you do need to do it.
You do.
Because you're going to see some things that you like, and you may see some things that you don't really like. But if you sit down and actually have to write it down, it's like, that's what's happening. That's why, my numbers are going down.
That's why my numbers are going up.
So those are, some strengths, some weaknesses. But we want you just to really look at this and sit down and put it on paper. And that's the big thing. Put it on paper. The winners in this world write things down.
Exactly.
And act on them.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I love to write it down and then just sort of file it away.
Well, that's great, but you're not going to get a lot of
You got it.
Okay, so let's move on.
All right, so here we are. We've got Susie Q Salon, and what we thought we'd do today is we're going to create a fictitious salon, and we're going to give it a name, and so that we can take a look at how Susie Q is going to move forward and make the SWOT analysis work for her.
Right, so we're going to pretend that Aileen and I are consultants working with Susie Q, and we've asked Susie Q to sit with us and create a SWOT analysis. So we're going to move into that. So let's get into, okay, so what are Susie's strengths? How'd you like my little graphic there? She's lifting weights.
She is a strong woman.
She's pumped.
Well, one of the first things that we noticed when we went to visit Susie Q is that she had a great visible location.
Absolutely.
Had awesome walk by traffic. It's in an active community. It was, it's just a really good location.
And we hear all the time, right? When you're looking for something, location, location, location.
It doesn't necessarily mean that you can't, we'll talk about that. We'll come back to that when we get to weaknesses.
Okay. So Susie thinks one of her strengths is she's been in business for 6 years, which again is great because we know a lot of businesses don't survive that long.
Exactly. So if she's been around for 6 years, it means that she probably has some great business practices in place, et cetera, et cetera. So that is a real bonus. It also means that there's continuity to the business.
Right. So she says that she has some solid experienced service providers.
Again, a really, really strong point because
in this day and age, it is a strong point.
I think we mentioned in our last newsletter is that the number 2 question we get asked after where do I find new clients is where do I find new staff?
Yeah, it's become a bit of a problem in our industry.
Yeah.
And again, they are 70% booked,
which is pretty darn impressive in today's marketplace. So we're pretty impressed with Susie.
Now, Susie thinks they have great customer service. Well, now, I'm going to tell you, almost every SWOT analysis that I have ever seen or sat in on, they all say that.
Of course, everybody thinks that they have great customer service. And that becomes, I think, one of the, we're going to probably cover that off.
No, we're going to talk about them as we go along.
Yeah. But I mean, like in customer service, like how to, change that and develop it, right?
Yeah. So, but again, she thinks they have great customer service. So, what does that look like to you?
Exactly. And how do you assess whether you've got great customer service or not?
Have you asked your customers lately?
Interesting question.
I think every single time we do a SWOT analysis, one of the things we do is send out a questionnaire to our clients and ask, how are we doing?
Yeah, and find out from them, are we hitting all the hot buttons? Are we doing enough? Because what we really find with customer service is that 80% of your clients don't think that you have great customer service. It's just kind of average.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting because most people, like I'm going to say 90% of business owners think they're offering great customer service. So, to have that huge disconnect tells me that we're missing something. And the only way we're going to find out what it is to ask the source.
Aileen, we should tell them a little bit about our experience here last night. We're at the Hilton in Vancouver today. We're facilitating a training class, and
well, the first night we were here,
yeah.
We ate in the restaurant, and to be honest, the food and the service was very mediocre, and we were a little disappointed. We've got a lot of people here for training. We're bringing the hotel in some good dollars. So last night we went down, and the gentleman at the bar said, "Please come back. Let me take care of you." And they were amazing.
Yeah, he was
maybe too amazing.
Yeah,
talk about free wine.
Yeah, he was amazing. Yeah, but I mean,
Thomas, if you're coming to the Hilton, ask for Thomas. I'll tell you.
He wowed us.
He
with
did.
The customer service. He recommended food choices for us. He was attentive.
He brought us out some appies to share at no charge.
So, and when we talk about customer service, it's really about the customer experience.
And being that, sorry, Kath, but that word experience is such a key word, because you think customer service, yeah. Customer experience. What are they, and how are we making them feel? Because in the end, that experience is all about how you feel.
Yeah. And, let's be honest. We have loyal clients who keep coming back. We tend to take them for granted.
You got it.
And we just hit on that yesterday in our class, is that oftentimes, a client that's been coming for a while, we just kind of, oh, come on in, blah, blah, blah. It's very nonchalant. You need to wow them every single time they come in by just little things. It doesn't have to be over the top, but knowing what they take in their coffee.
And exactly. And it can no longer be, hey, Jane, come on in. So what are we going to do today?
And
it's just not cutting it, you guys.
Yeah, I think Les just asked a question. Does Vagaro facilitate client surveys? Right now, I don't believe they do. However, it is as simple as sending out emails. And I mean, they do facilitate, you gather all your clients' emails, just send out emails and ask people. You can ask them 3 simple questions or 1 question. We're doing a yearly survey. We would love to know your thoughts on how are we doing. And you won't get a lot of responses, but you will get some responses, and act on those responses.
You'll probably get, if you send out 100 requests, you'll probably get 10 back. I find it's about a 10% return on your question. So, but those 10 that respond are really going to be indicative of what you would get if you got 100 responses back. So some might be great and some might be weak, and it gives you that opportunity to really do a self-check.
Yeah, and that's what we're talking about. This is about self-checking yourself. So, it's a great tool to be able to do that, but don't be afraid to put surveys out and ask people, because a lot of people say, oh, I don't really want to know. Yes, you do want to know.
And when you're going through this and looking at your strengths, so you want to ask yourself, okay, we're 70% booked. Why are we 70% booked? Like, what are we doing that is making us a 70% booked salon? What are we doing right? Like, really, really sit down and think about, okay, one of the reasons that we're 70% booked is because we ask every single client who sits in our chair to book their next appointment. So, we have that system really solidly in place.
Again,
right?
System.
So, ask yourself, solid experienced service providers, what are we doing right here? Why are these people staying? And again, we talk about asking our customers and clients questions. We also have to ask our employees. So find out what it is that they love about working for you, because then you can recreate that for your new hires, right? If you
Correct.
do have fantastic customer service, again, find out why. Ask your clients,
What do they like about
what
you?
do they love about you, right? And your loyal customers. If you think you've got really loyal customers, find out why. Because those are the strengths that we really want to work on. We want to recreate what we're really, really good at.
Yeah. And Eileen, you and I talk about this quite often, and that's, yes, you may have loyal customers. How good are you to them? Because oftentimes we're really good at trying to get new clients in our door, but we're really not all that good to our loyal clients.
Yeah.
How do you thank them? Because I'll tell you, if you have a client who comes back every 6 weeks, every 8 weeks, year in and year out, my goodness, they're your bread and butter. They are putting food on your table. Be nice. Once a year, send them out a thank you letter with a little gift voucher in it, or a Starbucks gift card, or something to make them feel special. I will tell you that Eileen and I have a small hair loss center in Victoria, and one of the things that we do is we send out thank you letters, handwritten thank you letters. We have a nice card that's made, but it's signed and a little note in it in each one of them, and we put a gift voucher in it for them to come back. I can't tell you how many people have been so blown away when they get that card.
And they're coming back in to spend. And of course, they don't just spend the gift card. They go and they spend a lot more money, and their gift card goes towards that purchase. But that is probably a sale that perhaps we might not have gotten without sending out that thank you.
Yeah.
So really seriously, this is again where we're looking at strengths. What are you doing to create really loyal customers?
And you want to do what other salons, spas are not doing, or even if you're a single, you rent your chair, you're a booth renter, you can still create an impact for those clients.
Absolutely. Seriously, whether you're one person or
50.
whether 50, the same rules apply. You have the ability to find out why your clients are coming back to you. And let's face it, a single operator in lots of ways has a lot more opportunity to create that incredible special niche for each and every client who sits in their chair.
Absolutely. Okay, so
strengths. Why are you
Susie,
strong,
yeah,
right? Why
those
are
were
you strong?
Susie's strengths.
Okay.
So let's move on, because now this is always a great category.
I love this one. And you think, okay, why? Am I just this really negative person? No, I love problems, because when we have problems, we can solve them.
Yes, and our weaknesses, if we identify our weaknesses, this is what I like.
Yes.
If we are strong enough people and get the ego out of the mix.
What? Ego?
Yes.
In the beauty industry? No.
We have to get the ego out of the mix. And if we're strong enough to really identify what our weaknesses are, that's your greatest opportunity to change.
You got it.
So, and to make a difference in your business. So Susie Q,
well,
she's in a good location. She's visible, but she's downtown.
I know, and
parking's an issue. It's expensive,
and it's only an hour and a half in the meter out front of her site. And there's a public parkade, a couple blocks away. But it is definitely an issue, right? Like, and it's one of the things that her clients say to her.
Well, for instance, the other day I had to run downtown for something, or I wanted to go to this boutique that I buy from, and I usually go down. I don't have a lot of trouble parking. They're just kind of outside of the city center, and I went there and I pulled in, and there wasn't a spot to be had.
Yeah.
You know what? I left.
Absolutely.
I said, I don't need it. I'm not finding parking. And I think that is a deterrent. In my own salon and spa in Winnipeg, on all of our marketing, we have a thing at the bottom that says free parking available.
Yes.
because it's a big deal.
It is a big deal. I can't tell you the number of times that I often, if I'm out and about and I have to run a couple errands and I think, okay, I'll stop at such and such, right? And if I'm driving by and there's no parking spot, I think, oh,
Keep going.
I'll keep going and I'll go on to the next spot where I might buy something. So parking is an issue.
So that's one of her weaknesses. So there's not a lot she can do about that, but I mean, she can explore different ways,
For sure.
Maybe giving her clients a parking chip,
Yes,
for the first hour
free,
free, blah, blah, blah. I mean, there are things that you can do. You can identify,
yeah.
we've identified that that's a weakness. Now we need to do something to.
And on speaking on parking issues, in Victoria, the Downtown Business Association actually hands out to businesses first hour free parking to give to their customers because they want to encourage people to stay and shop in the downtown core. So, not knowing what's going on in your own downtown core or whatever, if this is one of your problems, go and speak to your city hall and see what they can do to help you.
Yeah.
Because in the end, they want you to have business.
And the second one, I think, is for salons and spas right now. I think it's a big problem, and they don't have any young staff training. They just haven't found anybody. They just don't want to be bothered training younger staff. And even if you are a single chair operator, there is only so much you can do with two hands.
Yes.
I have yet to see a stylist that can work with their hands and their feet
at
the same time.
Octopus we saw the other day?
Maybe.
Yeah.
But there's only so much you can do with two hands. And I like to tell a story of a young woman that I coached for a long time. And she started out by herself as a single chair operator. She got so busy, she couldn't take anybody else in. So I said to her, look, you need to hire somebody to train who can help you. So they do all the shampoos, you train them to do your blow dries, you train them to apply your color, and now you can effectively double what you're doing.
Exactly, because all of us, if you're fully booked, basically you're at the top of your scale. So how are you going to increase your revenues? You start working with an assistant.
Yeah. So young staff are really important. You want to always have some young people training. Like I said, even if you're a single independent chair operator, you could easily do that. So, the big one, marketing.
Oh dear. Yeah. Susie's, she sucks at marketing, doesn't she?
Yeah, she's not very good.
Yeah.
She, if somebody comes along from the local newspaper and says, Susie,
we're going to have a promotion and, you can have, this kind of ad for this kind of money, and yeah. She goes, oh, maybe.
Yeah. But there's no plan.
No.
And like anything, you need to have a marketing system. So again, what I would say to Susie in identifying this as a weakness is you need to look at what you're going to do for marketing. We all know that there are times of the year when we are slow.
You got it.
And you can't wait until you realize that your book is empty
to do something about it.
To make it change now.
And I just have an aside here because this is actually one of my pet peeves, is that when the market is slow, this is an excuse. Oh, we're not doing so well because, the economy is really slow. I want to say, are you going to allow the economy to determine your success? Because believe me, there are people out there making money no matter what the economy is doing. So part of it is also mindset, right?
Truly.
So even in a slow economy, when for example, that October is going to be a slow month, what are you going to do to make it that it's not going to be a slow month? And that's marketing. That's what we have to look at.
You can't think about that on September 30th.
No.
You need to think about that down the road. And
think about that in January.
Yeah, and historically, the slow times of the year in certain parts of the country are usually the same. Florida might be different than Minneapolis, let's say. So know what your peaks and your valleys are and strategically market to those times. But marketing should happen all day, every day in your space. You should have promotions on your mirror, on shelf talkers, in the bathroom. There should be
In fact, in our class this morning,
Yep.
one of the presenters, I thought it was really brilliant because, we talk about like mirror clings, right? And where do you put them? And this guy was so definite. He says, here's where you put them. You put them at the client's eye level on your mirror to the right-hand side.
In a nice frame.
In a nice frame, right? So that that's where the client's eyes go. And if you really think about it for yourself, when you walk into a store, we always tend to go to the right. And of course, we read left to right, and the last thing we see is on the right-hand side. So it makes a lot of sense. So we have to be marketing in the salon all the time. And in the bathroom on the back of the door. Don't forget that.
That's my favorite place because we have a captive audience. But marketing is a system, and you need to start thinking about marketing. So Susie obviously knows that that's a weakness. So we're going to work on some marketing strategies for her.
You got it.
So what to do, when to do it. And marketing should be happening all the time.
Right.
As we said, marketing is sending out that thank you card.
That's part of your marketing. My marketing is sending out a client survey. Marketing is putting a little picture on your station of a promotion that you've got on. Marketing
is using Facebook effectively.
Exactly. I mean, marketing is a really big thing, and without it, though, you're not going to build your business. And it's like, the whole thing, build it and they will come. No, market it and
they will come. Totally. Oh, and why are we not surprised to see the next one on the list?
She sucks at retail sales. Oh,
well,
makes my heart bleed.
I know, but the industry average for our industry is less than 10% retail to service sales,
which just is so heartbreaking for me because it can be, not only can it be such a strong revenue category, it is completely tied into the retention of our clients. And that's what really gets me, is the more that we, and I don't like to use the word sell, because I really believe that we educate and prescribe what our clients need to be doing at home. And that's, in the end, a retail sale. And your client will stay with you far longer if they are taking home the products that you're educating them on.
Yes, and I mean,
and she does have customer loyalty. So, we got to really think how we can easily build her retail sales.
Absolutely. However, one of the things that I was going to say about retail sales is I just completely forgot. Imagine that. Aileen interrupted me, and there my train of thought was gone. So you can tell we don't script this. We are off the cuff. We believe in what we talk about. We talk about it so much too.
Exactly. This is our life. We live this every single day, and we talk to salon people every single day. So
I know what I was going to say there.
I'm so glad you remembered, because that will be thrilling.
So it's getting tougher. Retailing in our industry is getting harder. There's so many people taking a bite out of our industry. But again, we have the captive audience. And it's our fault.
It is.
That people are taking a bite out of our industry, because we are not prescribing and educating our clients when they're in the spa or when they're in the salon.
And there is so much that we can do to overcome our competition. Please know that retail category can make you a heck of a lot of money. It's a fabulous revenue stream for you, but you really need to understand what's going on in the bigger market and how you're going to change it for your salon and your business.
Yeah, and I think that when you look at retail as a weakness, and you're not alone. I mean, Susie's not alone here.
No. It's probably 95% of salons are struggling with their retail.
Yeah.
However, but that means that 5% aren't. So that's where we want to go.
Yeah, and there's an opportunity for growth right there.
Yeah.
So another thing that I think is one of Susie's weaknesses is when we ask the question, what do you specialize in? What did she say?
Oh, I cater to everybody.
Yeah, and we do everything.
We have children, we have seniors, we have it all. And in our business, you really have to think, what am I going to do differently? What am I going to do to stand out in the crowd? What am I going to do to be noticed by the community around me?
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that Susie's really lacking.
And the young lady I was telling you about that was a single chair operator who has taken on more people because she outgrew. She honed in on being a curly haired specialist.
Yes.
And everything that she did was based around curly hair. She did other hair, but she became known for curly hair because that's how she marketed herself.
Right. So really truly think, what is it that you guys are really good at? You know, perhaps you're fine and thinning hair specialist. Perhaps you're a color specialist. Whatever it is, these are the strengths that we really want to market to.
Another thing, you know, Aileen and I really believe in finding a niche, and we've found the niche of hair loss replacement and trichology. We opened up a center in Victoria after I said I would never again open a bricks and mortar business because I already have one. There was a need for it, and we saw that this was a great niche market, and we opened.
Nobody's paying attention to it.
Yeah, so we opened at the end of January, and it's amazing how the people are walking through our door.
For sure, and they're coming from the salon because the salon isn't able to help them. Fine and thinning hair is it's huge. It's like 70% of the market out there is fine and thinning hair.
Yeah, and scalp care, which is so interesting. Pick up a fashion magazine right now.
Yeah.
And on Saturday, I was reading a magazine while I was on the ferry coming over, and I couldn't believe it. I went, oh my God, look at this. There are 4 ads, almost full page ads in this magazine, and they're all to do with fine and thinning hair for women, selling them vitamins.
Exactly. So, you know, here's this category. So, you know, we're really excited. We found a very distinct niche and specialty that we're building on. Yeah. And you can do the same thing. Find what it is that you're really good at it and market to it.
Yeah, but narrow down your focus.
You got it. Drill it down, baby.
Yeah,
drill it down.
Yeah, we're not telling you not to do everything else. What we are saying is pick something. 4 years ago, we decided in my spa that we were going to focus on facials. We were going to market ourselves as the best facialists in town. And because we honed in, we do everything else that a spa can offer. But because we honed in, our retail business and our facial business skyrocketed.
It's amazing. And so we really want you to try it. You know, find the thing that you are really good at. Like Kath said, you can do all the other stuff. But if you market to your strengths, it is amazing how your business will change.
Now, this next one I find really, really interesting.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
Susie did say they are 70% booked, which she thinks is a strength. But then when she started looking at numbers, she realized that they used to be 85% booked, and they have slid back to 70%. That's a weakness.
So yes, it was a strength, but it's also a weakness. You see where we're going here? So what's changed? And here we get into analysis, because now we really need to say, okay, what's different? What have we done differently? You know, 2 years ago we were at 85%, and this year we're only at 70%.
Yeah.
What's changed in those last 24 months?
Well, there could be a number of factors. Number one, you know, you're taking your loyal customers for granted.
Yeah, complacency.
Yeah, and you're losing some, and you don't even really realize it.
Exactly.
Because we don't, oftentimes when a client doesn't come in, 3 months down the road, we think, oh, we haven't seen Mrs. So-and-so.
And guess what? That one can be fixed simply again by marketing.
Yeah. So that's one of the ways. The other thing is what we're seeing in the industry too, is clients are pushing their appointments out longer.
Right.
You know, when I started in the hair business, which was more years than I care to say ago, women came in weekly for shampoos and sets.
Right.
We permed, we shampooed and set.
They were bread and butter.
Yeah, they were bread and butter clients. Then Vidal Sassoon came along, and then we went to monthly clients. So we'd see them every month.
then ombre came in, and now we only see them every 3 months.
So clients are pushing their appointments out longer. They have, there's all these things they can touch up their color,
Oh yeah,
the root color, so that they don't have to come in and see us. Ombre, disaster, I think, for the salon industry.
I mean, truly a great ombre really is beautiful, but oh my gosh, it's hurting our business terribly, you guys.
Yeah,
it really
so
is, because we need to create something that brings them back in more often, kind of like the Evolve Volumizer brings them in more often.
Right.
So, those are the things that you have to look at. And if you have dropped down, and is it because of your client count? What do you have to do if you've lost some through attrition? How are you going to build?
And again, that goes to marketing. We should constantly be marketing. Now, as a single chair operator, for any of you out there, the best source of new clients for you are the clients that you currently have. Have a referral program in place. Again, it's all marketing, but have a referral program in place. If a client's going to send you someone, make sure the client coming in for the first time has a voucher to come in to get a little bit off to come in and try you. And the client who sent that person in, make sure you reward them.
You got it. That is really, really important, because then they become part of your team. They become Susie Q team.
Yep. And that's where you need to start. And I think as a single chair operator, marketing, you're not going to go out and do a big marketing campaign, but market right from your own chair. Because if you have clients, utilize the clients that love you, because those new clients coming to see you, they're almost they almost feel like they know you because their friend has recommended them.
Yeah. And word of mouth is still the strongest form of marketing there is.
Yes, it is.
Don't forget that. And finally, of course, my absolute favorite,
you missed one. Salon needs an update.
Oh, yes, we did.
This is one I really feel strongly about.
Yes.
Oftentimes we need to take a look around at our surroundings, because when we go into space every day, we stop seeing it.
Yeah, we do.
We do not see it through the client's eyes.
It's the same way as, like when I moved into my latest condo, I thought, I immediately have to paint this because, and I can't stand that light fixture. Well, guess what? I've been there for a year. I don't even notice the light fixture that I originally hated. It's just there, right?
Totally.
Yeah, I've taken it for granted. And we do the same thing at our place of work. So we have to have a little bit of a fresh eye here. And what you might do is drop a cloth over your face and pull it off, and then just say, okay, I'm going to be a client today and look and see what I am going to experience when I walk into the salon.
Yeah, and again, whether it's your salon or whether it's a place that you're renting space in, a number of years ago, in between having one salon and buying the salon that I've had for the last 20 years, I rented a chair in a salon, and I lost a number of my clients, and I really couldn't figure out why, because they'd been loyal to me for a long time. But I did pick up the phone and ask them, and it wasn't me. They didn't like coming into the space. They felt uncomfortable. It wasn't what they were used to, and they were too afraid to say anything to me, so they just left. So you need to really be in charge of your environment. You can keep your station and everything clean, and you can have a nice environment. But if it's not who you are, the rest of the space, that is going to translate to your clients.
You got it.
So, and we have a checklist. So if anybody wants a checklist, I have like a 2-page checklist
that we can send you
to go and check all the areas of your salon. I think you should do it. I think everybody needs to do it on a frequent basis.
You got it. Okay, now can I talk about systems?
Yes.
All right, because lack of systems. In other words, that if Susie brings in somebody new, either for front desk or for assisting or for service providing or whatever, she has to train them one-on-one. There's nothing written down. And if you have all your systems written down, it makes training somebody new so much easier. And then everybody is on the same page. You'll know exactly how to do everything in the salon in the same manner. And one of our favorite sayings is, what's the one thing you never see at McDonald's?
The manager, the owner.
The owner, because they have systems in place and everybody knows what has to be done. So I really believe that you've got to have your systems and how you organize your business, right from how you open the door to your codes. Everything needs to be in writing.
Don't care how big or how small you are.
Get
you
it in
still
writing.
need to have a system.
You got it.
Okay, so here are opportunities.
Yay!
So when she's gone through her strengths and her weaknesses, now we are going to look at some of the opportunities she has to turn things around, right? So retail sales growth should be like the number one place.
Absolutely, because oh my goodness, you guys, the dollars that you can make by improving your retail, it's huge.
So
what are you going to do to change that?
Yeah. Assess.
You got it.
And educate. Don't be afraid of retail. You never have to sell a product. All you have to do is educate. As soon as you put your hand on a product that you are using, this is what I'm using, this is why I'm using it, and this is the benefit to your hair, skin, nails, whatever.
And this is how you use it at home.
It's
so simple. You don't even have to say, do you want to buy some shampoo? If you tell them that this is what you expect them to do for their homework, they're going to do it. Because believe me, how can you send your client home if they don't know how to do their hair at home? And that's not just even shampoos and conditioners. We're also talking about like the tools that they need. Do they have a round brush and do they know how to use it? Do they have a decent blow dryer? Do they have a good flat iron? Yeah. All of these things are the tools that your clients need to create what you've given them in the salon.
And you're the one that is creating their look or, helping them with their skincare needs. You are the one that they should be buying it from. They shouldn't be going to a drugstore. They shouldn't be going to
online.
Yeah, online. Definitely not. We don't want them to do that. They should be buying it from you.
Absolutely.
And if we just need to get better at educating and better at closing the sale. And all you need to say is, Aileen, you're great for this. So at the end of the visit,
say, out of all the products that I've shown you today, which one would you like to take home with you? Or how about this one? Catherine, out of all the products that we've talked about today, the one that I think is most important for you to start using is your shampoo, because it is going to help you build the volume that you want for your style today.
Great, Aileen. I'll take that. Thank you.
Or, Catherine, by the way, this shampoo is available in an 8-ounce size or a liter size. What's going to work for you? I guess it's a quart for you.
And again, we need to assume that they're going to buy what
we're telling them.
Yeah, we're working off of an assumption.
Well, and I gotta share this little story with you, because when we opened up our center in Victoria, trichology is different because it is a very prescriptive product. And our trichologist, I was sitting on the front desk, and our trichologist brought up 5 products and put them on the desk. And I looked up at her and I was ringing the sale through. And believe me, you guys, I'm a huge retailer. I love my retail. And I looked at her and I said, well, now, which product would the client like to take home? And she looked at me. She said, well, she's taking all of them. 5 products. I almost fell off my chair.
She usually sells at least 5 products and a brush.
You got it, to every single client. So it's a tremendous revenue stream. And all because all she did was she educated, she prescribed, and she basically said, this is what you need at home to get the results that you want. That's it. She didn't say, do you want to buy this? She just said, this is what you need. And they looked at her and said, okay.
So trust me, if your retail to service ratio is under 20%, you have a huge opportunity for growth right there.
You got it.
And that's
imagine going from 9% to 20%.
Yeah.
Right off the bat. That would be incredible.
And another one of our opportunities is what we already talked about, and that's finding a niche.
Exactly.
Find that niche and work it. Work it,
baby.
Whether you want to be a long hair specialist, you want to be a facialist, whatever it is,
hair restoration specialist, an extension specialist.
You need to hone down and find it what it is. What am I passionate about doing when I'm, when I'm at work? What do I love to do? That's your specialty. Make sure everybody in the world knows it. Shout it out.
Exactly. And perhaps you give the best shampoo in the city. Never underestimate the value or the power of a great shampoo.
Yeah. And, we're looking, she said her space was a little needed updating. Yeah. So now's the chance. Look around. Reinvent your space. Move some things around. We get stuck and we keep things in the same place all the time, and gets a little, the paint gets chipped. We don't fix it. Paint's cheap.
It is.
And moving things around keeps it fresh. Why do you think supermarkets and they're constantly changing their product mix?
Exactly. And when they call the end cap at the end of the
drives me nuts, but
the space, has always got a new presentation on it. We're missing out. We're not looking at what other industries are doing, right? So hang on, there's a little note here from Joanne. Where can I find the you have to move that, Kath, and hide that.
I can't.
Click it up there, and it goes smaller.
No, there you go.
Where can I find the checklist to download? Okay, Joanne, at the end, we're going to leave you our email address, and you will send us a little email telling us that you wanted, and of course, how much you loved the webinar, and then we're going to send you back the checklist.
And so reinventing your space, simple, simple, simple. Move things around, keep it current, keep it fresh.
You got it.
Market to attract new clients. Again, we talked about that.
Your number one thing.
Start
referral program.
Yeah, start in your space. Start with the people that love you. Don't be afraid to ask them. Just say, I would love it if you could send me a bunch of your friends. I love doing your hair so much. I would love to meet a whole bunch of your friends. I bet they're just like you.
Yeah, and boy, they would be so great in this salon.
Yeah, and for every one of them you send, I'm going to give you $20 in service.
Who wouldn't love that?
Oh, I know.
Imagine.
We have clients that, they're $100 often when they're sitting there for them when they come in, and they love that. They're our biggest cheerleaders, and that's really what you need. You need to make your clients raving fans.
You got it. Raving fans, that's the one. And this is a great one too, is start an apprentice program. We are certainly in Canada, we're really challenged that the number of youngsters who are going into the schools has really, really decreased. So how do we counteract that? Because obviously there's not enough stylists coming out to cater to the whole market. So how do we counteract that? We start our own apprentice program. We build our own stars.
We train right from the beginning. Yeah, they may have gone to a school, but bring them in and give them more training and raise them in your culture. I think that's the biggest thing.
Well, exactly. And then guess what? They become raving fans of you as well. Because remember that your number one customer is your employees.
Totally.
Yeah.
And if you've been in a long time and your staff are aging with you, you need young blood. You need young blood to keep it fresh. So you do. We're not vampires. No, we're not. Okay. So
opportunity. If opportunity doesn't knock,
what do you need to do? You need to build a damn door.
You got it. So where's your door? Start building.
You need, if your opportunities are there, if it doesn't come banging on your door, go looking for it. That's what we're doing by doing a SWOT analysis.
Exactly. It's, and I love that because I get really excited at the thought of, oh my gosh, here's a new opportunity. Why didn't I see that before? It's because now you've put your analytical eyes on the business, and now you can see, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that this was happening. Okay, I'm going to fix that. I'm going to go out and I'm going to do this about that.
And if you just change a couple of things, it can make a huge difference to your business. But if you stay blind, which we walk through life pretty blind.
For sure. And it was so easy to get tunnel vision.
Well, we get into our comfort zone, and that's where we stay. You gotta get out of your comfort zone. Take a step out and move forward. That's where opportunity opportunities waiting when you step out your comfort zone. It's not going to come and find you in your comfort zone. Trust me.
No, you got to be the one. So don't wait for opportunity to knock on the door, and do not let the economy determine your success. There's my little thingy. Threats.
Threats are always
Love
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, choke me, right?
I think the biggest threat we have in our businesses, a single, multi-chair, I don't care, complacency.
Well, and we kind of touched on that.
We get
complacent.
We get complacent with ourselves,
Yep.
with our business, and more importantly, we get complacent with our clients. I have done it myself.
Well, I have too.
And it bites you in the butt.
It sure does. It's scary when that happens. So we have to give ourselves a little bit of a comeuppance and a little chat and say, come on, where's your energy today? Let's do this. And step outside your comfort zone, because in the end, complacency is about comfort zone.
And I think that's the problem with Susie Q's salon, because she went from 85% booked to 70% booked. I would bet you that part of it is they got really complacent about their business.
Yeah.
So you need to be on. Be aware.
And it means that you need a daily energy.
Yeah. And, Susie thinks that the new salon on the same block is going to be
a threat. And it is possible because, we all have a shiny object syndrome.
Yeah, we like to try new things.
Right. So,
however, I always believe that for myself, my biggest competition is in my space.
Yes, it is.
I am my own competition, and I want to make sure I'm stepping it up every time, because complacency can creep in really easily. But if I look at myself and I'm my competition and I'm constantly trying to better what we're doing, I think that says it all.
And for Susie, for example, she's got this brand new salon down the block from her. Just even sometimes a quick paint job and changing the salon around all of a sudden gives her a new look and makes her look like a new salon. So there's so many things that she can do to counteract that threat.
And a few years ago, in one of our yearly SWOT meetings, our biggest threat at that time, there was a 9,000 square foot spa opened less than a mile from us. The woman spent a fortune doing up this 9,000 square foot spa. And, we have a large salon, we have a large spa. And yes, we felt that was a threat. So we had to step up what we were doing.
Right.
But I will tell you, I am still there. They are long gone.
So, because what Susie has as a strength there is the fact that she's been there for 6 years. So that becomes a strength. There's a reason why she continues to be at work. So we have to really look at that and change it, right?
And one of the threats is that, yes, she has absolutely seen that her clients are pushing their appointments further apart. What does that say? We need clients to fill those times.
Not only do we need clients to fill those times, we have to find reasons for our clients to come back on a more frequent basis. Because in the end, the easiest client to get is the one that already exists in your salon. So how do we take our clients from, say, 4 to 6 visits a year back into 8 to 12 visits a year? So we have to give them a reason to come back into the salon.
Or if they are coming every 8 weeks, how can we increase their average ticket?
There's the other thing, because if we can get more dollars out of their every visit, then that works too. Because in the end, what we're looking at is dollars per visit.
What add-on services could we offer? There's so many things that you can look at. And we talked about this increased competition for retail dollars. It is huge.
It is. So what are you going to do about that? And again, there are solutions to this problem as well. You might want to take a look and find yourselves a line, a retail line that isn't being sold by every Tom, Dick, and Harry. Find a line that isn't necessarily being able to purchase online. Find something that works for you, right?
But the
not
biggest
for
thing
everybody
is
other salon in town.
The biggest thing is educate, and believe in what you're selling.
You got it. And which reminds me, product knowledge is one of the most important things you can do for yourself when it comes to retail. The more you know and understand what it is that you've got in your hand and how it works for your clients, you got a winner.
And the biggest thing, the biggest stumbling block, I think, for all of us is fear of change.
Yes, because when we have to change, it means we have to step outside our comfort zone, but it also means that we have to change, and change is a fearful thing. And it means that, oh gosh, now I've got to do this. And oh, I just don't know whether I've got the energy to do that. And
change is hard.
Change is really hard. And
but what's harder?
Yeah, exactly. Well, what's harder is not succeeding,
It's
right?
not succeeding, making less money than you made last year or the year before. So, in doing this whole exercise, what we've just done is walk through the whole business, and we've kind of looked at the strengths and we've looked at the weaknesses, and we've put a little bit of a plan of action together to make some changes, because every business needs to change continually.
You got it. And the important thing about change is you don't have to do everything tomorrow. Make your list, figure out which ones are the most important ones for you to change on, and slowly but surely work your way through the list.
And you have to take action.
Action is everything.
Action is everything. It doesn't matter if you have 4 things on that list that you want to change. You write them down on a list and you cross them off when you have done them. The sense of accomplishment you get from that,
it's huge.
Is huge. And you will make a shift. There will be a shift in your business, because, and even just going through the SWOT analysis, your perception's already shifted.
Yeah.
Because you're actually looking at,
for sure. And in
what
fact,
you can do.
I bet you anything, your whole ideas are completely different from when we started this webinar this morning. I bet in your head you're already going, geez, I bet if I do this, this, and this, and this, it's gonna change stuff for me.
Yeah.
So I know you've already got, you're probably already working on your checklist, and which takes me to the next slide, Kath, because here we are www.theprofitablesalonowner.com, and if you go onto our website, you will see that on the right hand side there is an opportunity for you to sign up for our free, that is no charge, weekly newsletter that is full of hints and tips, et cetera, for you. And if you send us an email to info@theprofitablesalonowner.com, we will send you the checklist that we talked about earlier.
So we hope you've enjoyed this SWOT analysis webinar. Again, we like to do these because we think it gets your brain engaged and thinking in a different way.
And we sure want to thank Vagaro, because I tell you what, now talk about change and development. These guys are always working on the next aspect and what they can do. So if you have an idea, honestly, talk to them, because they can create. They're creative. They're a great adjunct to the beauty industry.
So thank you very much for listening. We have loved sharing this time with you, and we hope that you took away at least one golden nugget. You got it. Thanks, everybody. And we will see you next month on the second Monday of October, which I think is the 12th. Am I right? Yes, it is. Okay, good. The 12th of October. We'll see you then. Bye, everybody. Take care. Bye, Les. Bye, Kelly. Bye, Joanne. Bye, everybody.